You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. We're live on 99.5 ESPN Radio. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. You can always call in at 620-343-6143. That's 620-343-6143. You can also find 99.5 ESPN on all social media platforms as well. It's simply at 99.5 ESPN. Don't forget to check out 995ESPN.com. We are Emporia's home for sports. Man, those two kids earlier, man. I'm telling you what. Little twinsy besties over there. Oh, man. That was a hootenanny, as they say. Speaking of Emporia's home for sports, he is live in the studio with us. His name is Don Weast, and he is hanging out. He is the Sports Information Director of Emporia State. And as I made mention of earlier, any interview that you've ever heard me do from Emporia State people, this has been the guy to set it all up for me, and they have been nothing but cordial and everything. Transparency has been phenomenal with Emporia State. Don, I just want to tell you it's a real pleasure to have you on the program.
Hey, well, thanks, Drew. I appreciate it. And, hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having us on here and getting all our people on. Really, since you came on the air, we've kind of had a little renaissance. Things started to pick up. I think you came on the air. Baseball went on a run. Softball went on a run. Track's the national meet. It's either you or Coach Doty.
I was going to say, because Blocker says it's Coach Doty. Maybe it's the fact that you guys got some new youthful guys in there instead of those old Garen Higgin and Bob Fernelli guys hanging around the building.
Hey, we're not that old now. Come on.
We brought some real live energy. Thing about me and Doty is, and I noticed there was a little bit of ego dripping from him. But as you made mention, it is definitely deservedly so. What was the ultimate deciding factor in bringing in Coach Doty to the basketball program?
Well, I think part of that, what you said, the reason he's got that ego, he's won 3 national championships in 5 years. I mean, you can't look at that on a resume and not be impressed. I don't care what level you're playing at. But, that was it. The fact that he's had success kind of in the central time zone here, which are kids that we would be recruiting that we know about. That was good. And then just his personality, kind of bubbly, excited about being here, wants to be things at Division II, and kind of understands the philosophy here at Division II.
One of the things that I honestly get concerned about with, though, Don, is longevity. I mean, obviously we've had guys like Fernelli and Higgins that have been here for a while, but it seems like in some instances, I should say, where at this level, you get a coach that comes in, they're successful, and then they leave. But do you think Craig, from the sound of it, is the guy that would want to stick around for a long time?
Let me put it this way. When he left Graceland, the school he was at, that he won the national title at last year, there were some people there that were pretty upset with him for leaving. They'd done some things to kind of help him out there, and thought he was going to be there long term. And he wins a national championship, and you get the opportunity to move up. If Craig Doty wins a national championship here at Emporia State, if he gets us to that promised land, we'll help him move on, because we know we want what's best for those people that are here.
Right.
I mean, we understand. I mean, we're not KU. We're not going to be paying people $300,000, $500,000, $7 million a year to coach basketball at Emporia State.
Right.
So, hey, if we get a person who comes in here, if they're able to get us to where we need to be, and that's happened a lot. You look back over the time. Christy Breadbinder's a softball coach who just took Wichita State to the regionals this year. She got her start here at Emporia State. You look at Brandon Schneider now at KU as a men's coach. He won a national title here at Emporia State. Now he's the head basketball coach at the University of Kansas. I mean, we understand that we want what's best for people because we like people on a personal level, get to know these people, kind of friendly with them, and we want what's best for your friends.
Well, and, my thing about it is it's good to hear that, because you get those places that go, why don't you want to stay here? What's wrong with us? But yet, when it boils down to it, if any of us had the chance to go on somewhere and make millions of dollars, who wouldn't take that?
Hey, I know we're on 99.5 ESPN radio, but if you were on the mothership, wouldn't you get a chance? If you had a chance to go to the mothership, wouldn't you go to it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you go. That's just it. And that doesn't mean that people aren't here. We've had actually a long long history here of people sticking around.
Right.
And really, since 2011, we hadn't had much turnover in our coaching staff.
Right.
Everybody'd been here. I think it's a good job. I think it's obviously a good job. 160 applicants for the men's position, 140 applicants for the women's position. People want to be here. We've had success with what we do, so people do want to be here. But, if you get a chance to better yourself and, move up a little bit and get something more, let's go do that.
I've always wondered about that because I think about the application process when I look for a spot in radio, I put in my application, and then, of course, everybody wants to hear an air check. They want to know what I sound like on the radio. What is it that you look for when you look at a resume and you go, okay, these are our top 10 candidates. We're going to call these 5 people for sure. How do you go through that process? It's got to be far more grueling, I would assume.
Well, it's different now, and it's different for each position. I mean, what you're looking for example, looking at what we were doing from the women's basketball search to the men's basketball search, you're looking at 2 different things. The women have had success for 20 years. You're wanting to make sure that you can build on that success.
Right.
Don't lose it. Don't mess anything up here. Let's keep it going where we're at and hopefully improve a little bit. Men's search, you're looking for something maybe that's not someone who's maintained a program. You're looking for people who can come in and kind of give a little jump start to it. And everything's different. And the great thing about today with social media and all the video that's out there, I mean, I went back just, on Coach Doty, for example, I probably went back 5 years worth of his Twitter feed just to see what he had. Was able to look at a lot of the video that they did during their run in Kansas City at Municipal Auditorium and see kind of how he interacted with fans in that way and how he interacted in the locker room. People put that stuff out. It's a lot easier to get you an idea how people are. But then it all comes down to who you feel comfortable with.
Has social media been good or bad for sports? I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I feel like obviously there's a lot of great levels to it because it's made it easier to me now for that hard-working man that, maybe he's got to work on Saturday and the only thing he can look at is a couple of quick highlights on his favorite team. And then there's also the comment section and the debate stuff that happens that I feel like maybe has kind of gotten out of control. What's your perspective on social media? Because obviously, and I know that ESU uses it a lot. I mean, what's your position?
I think it's great. I really do. But again, I'm a communication guy. Anything you can do to communicate your point out is a plus to me. It's a tool. It's just like anything. I mean, people at one point said, oh my gosh, what are people going to do sitting around, listening to the radio at night? And then it came TV. What are they going to do? Just all going to stand around and watch TV at night? It's just a tool. And it is what you make of it. I think there are people that can make mistakes on it, and it can cost you, and it probably amplifies your mistakes a little bit. But hopefully it amplifies your successes as well.
Draymond Green. Emporia State was very successful, obviously, in softball especially. I think went a lot further than anybody from an outsider's perspective would have seen them go. Going into next season, what do you see for Coach Rosales and company in terms of what they're capable of in softball?
Well, it's going to be a little bit different team because they did graduate a lot of seniors this year, but I think that she is now – this will be her 4th year coming up. She was in a little bit of a pickle there at the beginning because we had some upperclassmen in place and she couldn't kind of recruit her kind of kids. And I think now that we're going to be getting into her full recruiting classes, she was recruiting some JUCO kids that turned out great for us, but still didn't have that ability to kind of be program kids that you need in softball, I think. And we're able to kind of learn the culture of Emporia State softball and all the history and success we've had. I think they're going to be good. I think especially when you look at how they kind of all bought in the last half of the season, I think that's going to carry on into next year. They've got some good pitchers coming in that are freshmen, that were freshmen this year, some good infielders, and I think things will be good in that.
Coach Fernelli wins his 900th game. Nothing short of amazing. I don't think people understand when they hear 900 wins. The guy's been here since 2004. Now, obviously, not all 900 were here at ESU, but a very good majority of them, better than 50%.
599.
Right. We're definitely here. What is it that you love the most about Fernelli?
The way that he develops a family atmosphere around his teams and how he can do it with a completely different group of guys every year. Because he does, and I think that part of it is the baseball culture. You look at it, guys in baseball, like in the pros, they're used to getting the call, hey, you're going to be moved up to the next level, or hey, we're going to have to send you down. People are used to moving around with a bunch of different teams throughout a year. And I think he's able, though, to bring everybody together, get them on the right way, play the game the way it's supposed to be played. It was just it was amazing. I mean, they go 1-2 in the regional, but they played as hard as they played all year long. They just didn't have the horses. I mean, that was the bottom line. We had some guys hurt that didn't do it, so we had some guys that were having to step in, and it took them a little bit of the season to get into that role. But once they did, kind of took off there at the end as well. And I just think that's it. The way he does things with a family, he stayed the same the whole time. Here's the interesting story, and it would have been really difficult if we'd have won one more game during that regional. He was probably going to miss our games on Sunday because he was going to come home because his daughter was graduating from high school.
Wow.
And he talks about how family's important, and if that's the case, then he's going to miss the baseball family to be with his family. And he said it was tearing him up. It was tearing him up just trying to think about that. That's why we wanted to win 3 straight, so then Sunday would have been off. He could have come here and then driven back and got there for Monday for the game. But that's just it. I think the way he preaches family, and he's had an opportunity to go some other places. You talk about longevity. There have been some places that have come and looked for him and tried to pull him away, but nothing has been better than what he's got here in the full package.
Well, one of the things that I've definitely picked up on when I talked to him was he's definitely embraced Emporia and all that it has to offer. And he did make mention that his family was, his wife's family was here, and that was a big part of why they elected to move here. In terms of developing Seth Holman, MIAA Pitcher of the Year, if I remember correctly, upshot for that kid. What do you think?
Well, Seth's he's not an 88, 89 guy. He's an 86, 88 guy that, he may have a shot. I mean, he's got some cousins that are in AAA right now. David Holman that played for us, he's in AAA with the Rockies right now. He's got a shot, but he's more of a pitcher than he is a thrower. He's not going to overpower anybody. But I think he's got as good a shot as anybody does on that. Bryce Fisher's another kid that came in, transferred in from Oklahoma State. Batted 400, 13 home runs, 65 RBIs without a lot of protection around him in the lineup. And he's got some tools. He made a fantastic catch in the outfield during the regional tournament, just running away Willie Mays over the shoulder type thing that was just beautiful. He's got a shot maybe to get drafted or get picked up somewhere too. He does a good job. I'm trying to remember how many players have gone pro under Coach Fernelli. I mean, you go back even to his Fort Hays days. Nate Fields, who played in the majors, pitched in the majors, was one of his guys. So he's got some people there, but a lot of it he does are with program guys. It's interesting.
One of the things that I have really loved about Emporia State that I've heard since I've got here, and you made mention of it today, and Craig Doty even talked about it, and he hasn't even been here for that long yet. Fernelli mentioned it, is it's all about family and building around this community and the relationships that you have with people. April Rosales, she talked about it. What does it take, do you think, that there's an old saying, right? It takes a village. Do you think that that's how Emporia lives? Is that we're all kind of in this together?
I think that's how you have to be. Whether it is or not, that's how you have to be, and that's how you have to live your life, and just, take the people that want to be a part of that village and bring them in there. And then if they're not, you don't push everybody off to the side or anything, but, you accept the fact that they don't want to be a part of that, and you move on to the next and get in people that want to be a part of it.
Braxton Marstall is one of those that is definitely a part of it. He's going into his 5th year. This is going to be it for him at ESU. There's a lot of leadership, as I talked about, with Coach Higgins coming back on that squad. 9 offensively, 8 defensively, if I remember correctly. And, of course, new recruits like Will Amos. This season, I think, could be it if they're going to move into a position to make a run for a championship. Would you agree with that? I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I look at it last year, we were probably about 2 plays away from being in that position, realistically. I mean, we had we're tied with Central Missouri at the last play of the game. Right. And you take a chance. I mean, and that's the one thing that Coach Higgins is. He's a gunslinger. He's going to get back here. He's going to take a chance. He's not going to rest and set back. So, we try to do something that you run in practice all the time, the Boise State play where you throw their laterals and all that. And 5 things had to go right for Central Missouri to score on that, and all 5 of them did at some point, and you lose that game. Did a great job to bounce back after that. We're in a good position against Central Oklahoma, and up big, they had to convert 3 2-point conversions, something you never see in a game. I mean, I think they tied the MIAA record for 2-point conversions in a game. They did it. They were able to get us on the end. They recovered an onside kick twice, one of which didn't go 10 yards, but we won't talk that way. But, I mean, those things, you take those 2 games around, and it's 8-3. Who knows what happens in those other 3 games, and maybe you're looking at,
a 9-2 playoff season. So
and that kind of brings me to a thing that I tried to talk to yesterday from the Emporia Gazette. I'm sure you hear the interviews that I do with Dylan Sherwood about, and that is, when at some point are we at the high school level, the JUCO level, the D2 level, going to start getting some instant replay incorporated? Because I think that it's a necessity at every level to have that there.
Well, we have instant replay in Division II in basketball, and then if you're videoing in volleyball, you can do it in volleyball as well. And to a certain extent, we've got it in football. We can targeting penalties can get reviewed at the half to see if a guy should be kicked out or if it should have just been a penalty. So there's a little bit of it there. The trouble with Division II, and which will filter down to the high school and all that, is what are you going to be looking at?
Right.
I mean, if you're looking, we're not going to be seeing an 8-camera setup like they do in the Super Bowl, where you get every angle and you can zoom in super slow mo. We may be doing a coach's camera angle, from 300 feet away to get it all. So it's kind of hard to do that. Interesting story. I mean, you kind of new to Emporia here. If you've got some older listeners may know, replay doesn't always work. There was a classic game here at Emporia State in men's basketball. We're playing Northwest Missouri. Score is tied. We take a shot to tie it. Northwest goes down, misses a shot. We get the rebound. Kid launches a half quarter. Bang, goes in the bucket. Everybody's going crazy. We think we've just won. They're yelling, no, we got to go to replay. We got to go to replay. And it was the first year we'd done replay in Division II. And they looked to it, and they couldn't get a discernible thing. They started counting it down on a cell phone stopwatch.
Are you serious?
And ended up waving off the basket, and we lost in double overtime.
Oh my gosh!
So those things happen. Even replay. Even you look at it in the pro. In the majors, NFL. There's times where you're thinking, how is that? I mean,
right? There's nothing there.
Des caught it. I mean, come on, let's go. Things happen. So.
Are you a Cowboys
no,
fan?
I'm not. But that's the easiest one to go with.
Oh my goodness! You really think Des caught it, man?
No, I don't. But that's the easiest one you can go with.
My daughter, she absolutely, positively loves this one particular movie. Just let it go. Let it go. Oh my goodness. Because the new catch rule now in the NFL,
right.
He would have made the catch.
Exactly.
He would have made the catch. You know what? I think it was years ago, and I think Aaron Rodgers is a factor that people forget about. He only needed a minute and 43 this past season with half of his team injured to beat Dallas. Come on, give him that guy a full roster.
Yeah,
it's over.
Exactly.
They're going to win that football game.
Exactly.
Don, we got to take a break. We still have a lot more to get to. You're able to hang out for a little bit longer, right?
Sure. Anytime you need.
Yeah. All right. Great. All right, everybody. This is the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at DrewDuncan83. We are live with Don Weast. Call in at 620-343-6143. That is 620-343-6143 if you have any questions for Don about Emporia State. In the meantime, we'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.